Melissa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. It's so nice to talk to you again. Got to talk to you about XO Kitty, which was so fun and one of my favorite shows. So I'm always really excited to talk to you. It's Song Covey sister. Um, so this new project, the Middlebridge Mysteries, it is also an academic setting, like XO Kitty. It's college, so a little different, but it's obviously a totally different genre, like as a detective story. So, what drew you to this project and specifically Violet's character?
I think Violet's character is such a fun one to play because she's always getting herself into crazy situations and crazy crimes and investigations, and she's always just like can't let it go and always looking for the next clue. And I feel like that is funny to me because Kitty also I feel like is someone who's really like that in a lot of ways. But what was so intriguing to me was also just the world of audio dramas and getting to play with that medium was so different and such a great learning experience. And I had a lot of fun kind of learning the differences of what you get to really lean on and explore when it is only audio and you don't get to rely on your expression and your body language and all the things that I've kind of learned to be like, oh, what is acting to me? Now I'm like, oh, this is actually a whole different thing, a whole different skill, and it was really fun to get to play with.
Yeah, I was curious. It's so funny. I was going to ask, like, how did that compare, like, narrating a book compared to? I know you've done voice acting roles before. Sign out, very excited for Angry Birds 3. Um, but like, yeah, I imagine it's very different from, on-screen acting. So, I mean, I know the facial expressions, but was there anything else that stuck out to you about how different the process is?
Yeah, I think even just from the start of reading the script, it was so obviously like different. Like there wasn't descriptions of what things look like and what colors things are, or like even there's a lot of like stage direction often with like expression or a look or whatever. I'm like none of that's in here because it's all just up to the imagination of the listener. I think that was also really fun to think about. Like when I was performing and while I was doing it, I was picturing a whole universe and world, and in my mind, I'm like, I know what Violet's outfit looks like right now. I know what Violet's dorm room looks like, but I'm like, oh, as a listener, you're picturing your own dorm room. You're picturing a whole other universe, and that's really fun to think about. I think it's a really like engaging way to be a part of a story. So that was really cool, and just yeah, getting to think of like all the possibilities with that, all the imagination can really run wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Side note, I love that Mason Temple, who was also in Ginny and Georgia, is in this as well. And, as someone who's half Filipino, it's cool to see a lot of Asian rep in this, but it's also really cool to see like specifically YA Netflix stars in this. So I'm curious, had you guys seen each other's shows on Netflix before doing this project?
No, I actually haven't. And what's so funny is like we don't really work with our castmates on a project like this because you're all recording separately, often in totally different weeks, different cities, even that I haven't gotten to meet him and I haven't met a lot of these
Mhm.
castmates, but I would love to. And Amelia is
Yes, gonna
part
ask.
of this. Yeah, I haven't seen her in years, but that was so exciting to find out that a fellow to all the boys like family member was a part of this, and that was really cool to see. But I haven't actually gotten to like interact with these casts in person.
hmm Yeah, but no, I was really excited to see Amelia on there too. I was like, oh, a little like connection.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. So I know you recently finished your studies at UBC, which is awesome. And I think you did what, sociology and creative writing, which
yeah.
is really
Good job.
cool. So I'm curious, as like a recent college student playing, somebody who is a college student, how did that kind of shape your portrayal of Violet?
I definitely think Violet goes through that classic experience that a lot of college students go through of figuring out how to balance something new that you have never really had to tackle before, of like how busy you are, and she's always stressed about homework, and she's balancing that with like her new passions and figuring things out and crushes and making friends and roommates and like all of the things that are so relatable and just part of the university experience that definitely helped me like tap into that, as well as just I think like the world of picturing like what her campus looks like and what Middlebridge looks like. I realize often like I'm actually just picturing my campus and what I know to be like, oh, this is like the main hall and this would be the this and that. And like it's so fun to kind of get to exist in my world for a bit and kind of merge those two together. But I loved being a student, and I don't know, I might go back to school at some point. I'm taking a break right now to focus on my career, but it was so great and such a like developmental time. I feel like you like become so many new parts of yourself once you enter school and being on a campus all the time. So it was cool to see Violet in that same space.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, We talked a little bit about this, but like, what specific traits do you think Kitty and Violet have in common? And I'm also curious how you think she's done a little bit of digging around with mysteries, but how do you think she would do as like a full-on detective like Violet?
I think Kitty would love to say she'd be a good detective. I think if you asked her, she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I like so this is what I do." But no. Kitty does not think things through enough, and that is why I also love her because she acts off of feeling and impulse and she really has her heart in her sleeve all the time. But Kitty like really has gotten herself into so many of my situations. I don't know if I would trust her to be a true investigator. And I feel like Violet is like really detail oriented and notices small things and really thinks things through in a way that Kitty could probably learn from her. But I do think they would make a good team and they would definitely be friends.
hmm Yeah, I love that. It's so true though, because it's like, well, that's why we love Kitty, because it wouldn't be fun if there weren't messes going on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but absolutely. So did you listen to any great audiobooks or podcasts yourself while you were filming Exo Kitty season 3? Like just, when you're offset, like
Hmm.
hanging in the
Yeah,
truck.
actually, I listened to a few podcasts. I've gotten into listening to podcasts while I'm running, and I think that's a really good combination of like it keeps you at a good pace and it also makes you like distract yourself from running because even though I love doing that, it's like obviously not always the funnest activity. That there was an episode of Diary of a CEO. I can't remember the exact people who were like in this episode, but it was such a good one. I actually listened to it a few times. My sister recommended it to me while I was in Korea and it was so fascinating. It was talking about evolution and just talking about like so many of the things that I think I learn at school and that I'm fascinated by when I'm at school, but while I'm shooting, I'm not really a student. I'm not part of like my sociology mindset. It doesn't really get to be explored while I'm working. So listening to podcasts and different things like that is a great way to kind of keep my brain in that world because I just find it so fascinating. But yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely got more into it recently.
That's a really smart idea to listen while you're running. Like my thing lately has been just taking really long walks with podcasts on
Yeah,
like
that's
deep
perfect.
dives, and it's so nice. So this is based on, well, or it's a spinoff of a Hallmark series, The Mistletoe Murders. So I'm curious, do you have any like guilty pleasure Hallmark shows or movies?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like a Christmas Hallmark movie is so important. Like that is just, I feel like everyone has had that experience of watching it with like your family or friends and having hot chocolate and like eating cookies and it just feels so peak Christmas holiday activity that I really look forward to doing that like every year. I can't wait to do it with my mom. We're like very that's a very good activity for us. We love watching things and like dissecting them together and talking about them. So I'm excited for that to happen in December.
I love that. I feel like that's also like, the Songcovey sisters would watch movies together and
Totally.
dissect it. I love it. Um, so do you have any other like dream books? Like if you could narrate any book, do you have one that you would
Oh my goodness. I would love to narrate so many different books. I think it's such a fun like style of performance as well because it's so different. I think just like a lot of romance novels would be really fun and really cool to play with. I think there's a lot to like explore in that genre that obviously is like what I'm used to on screen, but to get to do that like through a book would be really fun. So I don't know, probably a rom-com of some
pick?
kind.
I love that. So my last question, I know I asked you a similar question with XO Kitty, but I'm curious, like, what do you think would be on Violet's Spotify Wrapped?
Ooh, I like this. What would Violet listen to? I feel like something that would like hype her up to
Mhm.
like go into especially situations where she's like very stressed out, which happens a lot, or like something that she probably shouldn't be doing, like climbing through vents of a building and stuff like that. She would definitely need like something very hype, like Charlie XCX, like I don't know, something to be like just like don't think, just do it, just go for it. I feel like she would be like a pop girl.
I could totally see that, like Brat Summer,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
All right, I think that's like actually all the questions I have, and you answered all of them so great. So thank you so
It
much.
was great
Um,
chatting to you again.
yeah, it was so nice to chat with you. Always love it.
Professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life. Comics, movies, and TV. Yeah. Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.